Oh, yeah.
Politics, more like PoliTicks with your PoliTicks.
Oh, yeah.
PoliTicks with your PoliTicks.
Whoops.
Smooth as butter. There you go.
Because it automatically takes you out. If you hit like end stream, it automatically removes the videos. I was in my head thinking it automatically puts them in, but it doesn't. Anyway, welcome to PoliTicks, guys. We're back. It's been a long 2 weeks. It seems like eternities go by between these shows with the amount of crap that happens every day under Donald Trump. But between Donald Trump, between the psychos in Congress, between marches, Islamic versus Christian Christmas parades, it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. Hi, Brian.
Hey, what's up?
We should probably let everyone know that we actually broadcast. We're a couple of light years away from the Earth. That's why things go so fast on Earth. Wait, no, I don't know if that works. I don't know if that works.
Well,
you're saying things
blew my mind.
It'd be slower, right? I don't know.
We're talking about how November flew by.
It really did.
Right?
It really flew by quickly.
The whole year flew by, but we were talking about how with Trump, like we have 2 weeks between PoliTicks shows, and it's like where do you even start?
Yeah. I know one of the things we're talking about today is this sedition or speech, right? The title of the episode where, it's like, and this is out of left field. Like on top of the other stuff, like we'll talk about this leaked Ukraine peace deal today. But on top of that, you've got Donald Trump signing the Epstein files release. I don't know how much you want to talk about that today. In fact, he's like, there's no files. Well, we signed this document. We're going to release the files. Okay, so there were files. Like, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to get out of these. I'm excited to find out, but I have a feeling it's going to be just a nothing burger. It's going to be redacted. Otherwise, there's no way they would have seen the light of day, even under Congress's, threat and vote. There's no way these things would have come out if there's going to be anything in there that's actually of value.
Yeah, it's so, like, when you look at Donald Trump, the way that he has played the Epstein files, it doesn't make any sense. Like, unless he was, the only thing that would make sense, and I'm not saying he was doing this, but this would be some 4D chess, which, some claim that Donald Trump is always playing 4D chess.
And Kamala Harris playing 3D chess. It's not for you.
Maybe 1D chess. But so with Donald Trump, like, was he just playing it this way, like calling it a hoax and calling it not real? And why are you still talking about Epstein? And because he wanted to get the Democrats to go, oh, release the files. You're in the files. Release the files. That would make sense. Aside from that, I can't. Unless he's actually in the files and doing like criminal things. Aside from one of those two things, it doesn't really make sense.
Donors. I mean, that's what I think it comes down to. It's money. It's always money.
So the donors are in the files?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, look at the names have already been kind of leaked. There was Larry Summers, former Harvard president, and then former Secretary of Treasury with the Clinton administration, I think. Keep me honest there, gents. So, I mean, he's noted in there. You have, oh, goodness, what's the guy's name? Massey said his name on the floor. He's a billionaire donor. I forget the guy's name.
Is it Abelson?
Big fan of the show.
Abelson.
Big fan of the show.
It might be. I'm not 100%. Yeah, big fan. But like there's a lot of these big names that I think are tied up. I also think there's a lot of noted people. Did you guys notice in Mike Johnson's his like protesting between the congressional vote and then the Senate vote? He's like, there needs to be amendments because there's people that are implicated here that are like national like not he didn't say national security threat. It's something like that. National security.
He said it was
Did he say it directly? Okay, yeah. So like that right there, that tells me that okay, that means that there's somebody either currently in government or somebody who's been recently in government that if they are exposed to have been on this list, it raises all sorts of red flags. And I think that's why, because the red flags, I mean, there's already a lot of red flags that are up. So I think they're just concerned that there's going to be even more red flags that get waived because of this. It's just more fuel to the fire. So
I haven't been following this that closely. So what I'm wondering is it just seems like everybody's name is in this is has had some contact with the team over the past 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm just wondering is when it comes to the files, are there sort of like different divisions where it's sort of like, okay, here are the people at Harvard who didn't have sex, didn't go to the island necessarily, but this guy gave them money or connections. Now, here we got, the guys who were just all about the island. That's all they did. Mm-hmm. Here's one guy, a janitor on the island. He didn't really have that much money, but whatever, his name is there. So it's like, how are we, deciphering, which ones are the criminal, the criminal relationships versus the ones that were just, professional relationships, or like, hey, this guy's got a lot of money. We need money. We're gonna talk to this guy. And so I don't know, where we are.
I mean, I would say it's Lolita Express is definitely an indicator to me that if you've been on the plane, you probably are a scuzzbag. If you've been in his house, because didn't they have recording? Didn't they find recording stuff in his house as well? Like, peepholes and cameras. So that's an indicator that something creepy is going on. But yeah, to your point, I mean, even the email that's supposed to implicate Donald Trump, it's vague enough. And I was talking about this on my show this week.
You're talking about the one with him and his brother. Is it Epstein and his brother talking, or?
Well, it was somebody was like, well, Virginia Giuffre or whatever her name is. She said that he did not do anything to her, but there's one email that just says victim. And so you don't even know who it is. And it could be, victim could mean that this is one of the sex prostitutes. Victim could mean just a lady that was involved in it. Like it's the redactions bug me in that way. And I know they want to protect these people's identities, but by doing that, you leave the door open of like, we don't exact what this person could have been like a wait staff and they're calling her a victim because Donald Trump hit on her or something. So there's just so much gray area there. Mm-hmm. And this is why I think we're going to get nothing out of this, because even the people that you think would be implicated, even if they were on the plane, unless there's videos, unless there's emails of Epstein being like, I got him on tape, butt raping Susie that's 14. I still don't know what you're going to get out of him.
By the way, Brian, do you know what email John was referring to?
Not with Epstein and
the Bubba email.
You fill him in, John.
Yeah, I guess it was between Epstein and his brother. Is that right, Brian?
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's in this sort of weird, like it sounds like a joking email, but essentially, I don't have it in front of me, but I think the brother jokes about Trump blowing Bubba. Bubba would be Bill Clinton.
I do know about this. Yeah, I don't believe that for a hot
Which, of course, the left runs with it. Like, this is indisputable evidence that Donald Trump was blowing Bill Clinton. Like, what?
There's no way.
But wait a minute. Let's just imagine it happened, right? That means that the left has to like him.
I prefer not to.
Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
He's awesome now. Like,
he's earned diversity points. Yeah, he's one of the chosen
this whole time.
Put a skirt on.
Well, knowing Donald Trump, though, if he was going to suck Bill Clinton's dick, he would have poured, liquid gold on top of it first, like a Game of Thrones style, before sucking it, because that man loves a gold-plated anything.
Oh, he would have prepared it. What was it that the Assault Bay guy does?
Yeah,
like that. Just really over the top, unnecessary, making it more costly than it's worth, and you just you'd be better off just blowing a ribeye. Than sucking off this dude. Well, also, how much of this is, I mean, when, we're not at Jeffrey Epstein's by any means, the four of us. We don't have the power and connections, but, we fuck around when we're sending emails to each other and text messaging and all that. Like, again, how do you decipher what's a joke, what's serious? Like, what is, the version of, oh yeah, Trump blowing Bubba. Yeah, he had Hillary and Bill at his wedding. Like they had a former, relationship here. Is him blowing Bubba sucking up to him, not
Right.
figuratively, as opposed to
like ass kissing.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems like there's so much about this world of elites that is so foreign and alien, and I don't understand. But then there are elements of it where I'm like, well, we can get this, right? We can understand, right? Like the idea that that every single person on that list wants to fucking rape like underage girls just seems that's a little much. I just don't believe that too many people are actually into that,
Yeah, and
I don't know. I don't know.
everybody who's talked to Jeffrey,
It's like, no, don't get into it, man. Shut up.
I'm pretty sure a lot of them are very
monsters.
very much open to kitty fucking personally, but
I don't. I think it's probably a small group of the elites that are actually into that. I hope so. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope none are into it, but I think it's pretty evident that some are. But yeah,
otherwise we wouldn't be having this chat.
Yes. I think part of the thing with the files though is like, yeah, we talk about like all these names are in there. People he's gave money to Harvard and all these different studies and scientists, and it's weird all the different things that he was involved in, which kind of lends credence to the fact that maybe he was a spy, keeping all these people under his thumb. Mossad spy, people have said. I didn't say it, just heard it. But yeah, like I don't necessarily think that if someone flew on his plane that they are a pedophile. Maybe they just flew on his plane. So I don't know. There needs to be evidence. And I think that's kind of like the tricky part with this is people. I've seen people I respect post release the Epstein list. Every name on that list, they should go to prison or be thrown in a wood chipper. It's like, wait a minute. Just because they had a conversation with him, like we don't even know. You have to have evidence and context and understand actually what happened. You can't just throw everything out. Like that's insanity.
What's going on with that commercial? There was a commercial of the victims that were the women. They were holding up pictures, I guess, of themselves from that time. What is that? What is that for? Is there like a documentary coming out or something? Like, what?
I think it was for the vote.
I don't. I'm very doubtful they were actually trying to sell a product, right? Like it's not a commercial.
I think it was for the vote itself. I think it was to promote the vote. Yeah.
That would be just one of the worst. Like, remember those like Tampax was here commercials? Like that would just be just a terrible jump the shark moment on that. But I think I saw a number of people saying that, oh, why don't they say who was there? Like, why don't they reveal the names? But haven't they? I mean, haven't those women come out and said, yeah, these are the men that were there?
Not really. Yeah, not really. There's
vaguely like that Virginia. However you say her last name,
Galifi.
Yeah. She said a prominent prime minister.
Just name them. Yeah. Why are you dancing around the name? Just say it. And she said so like, oh, because libel laws in the UK. It's like, well, then come to America and say it.
Yeah.
It seems insane. Well, anyway, I guess we'll wait and see. We've got other topics to get into anyway. Speaking of this interesting, again, hard to keep up with it, but the Democrats have now gone on record as wanting to encourage the military not to listen to Donald Trump whatsoever. And let me make sure this is actually sharing.
Bold move, Cotton.
Okay, you got it pulled up too. Do you have the video?
Yeah, I have the video right here. Hold on. Here's the video. So here we go. So, and again, I just love how these people they think it's A-okay that it's just like coming out here. It's just so odd to have an ad like this or an internet video like this where people are just openly telling the military to defy the president.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly. Representative Chris Deluzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy. Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk. This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals.
against American citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath.
to protect and defend this Constitution
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad, but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army, our Navy,
the Air Force,
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you. We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
The ship.
It's so lame. God, it's so lame. I mean, I agree with it conceptually, right? That, yeah, you shouldn't obey illegal orders, but to pretend that all presidents haven't given illegal orders is one thing, right? Because obviously they have. And obviously there's all sorts of, black ops going on. Even the support for Ukraine, I would argue, is illegal. But what do you think of this? Is this something that you could prosecute these people for doing? Or is it, is it just them waving a liberal flag around and just trying to get themselves some attention?
Well, on that note, so on this episode, I'm going to be asking a lot of questions because I don't know as much as you guys, but what are the specific orders that they're talking about, and are those orders
Nobody
illegal?
knows.
Right?
I think they're
Nobody
referring
knows.
to the ICE stuff, right? Like I think that's the vibe I'm getting.
That's what I was thinking too. But even the ICE stuff is not what ICE is doing isn't illegal. ICE is doing ICE's job. So if you have a problem with ICE, then okay, try to abolish ICE. But they don't seem to be going out of their way to do anything illegal. And the deployment of the National Guard, I guess maybe they're arguing that that's illegal, because it's going against governor's wishes. But I don't know. There certainly seems to be legal precedent for it. So
I don't know.
I just asked Grok, so we'll see what see what comes up.
I heard Grok was spouting all sorts of compliments for Elon Musk. Somebody had messed with the algorithm or something like that. So if it tells you he's got an 8-inch cock, you know what's happening.
Well, maybe Grok knows information we don't have. I don't know.
It could.
I mean, of all the AI that would know that, it would be Grok.
Yeah. But I mean, it certainly does seem that they're just throwing out a vague instruction to the military to disobey the president's orders. And I don't think
Or
there's
at least
enough
give them the
evidence to
ground
really go
cover to
after
do
them.
it.
What's that?
Or at least give them the ground cover.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. To say, oh, well, we were, fighting back against a unconstitutional order, giving the leadership there. Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's like, I doubt anybody's going to do anything like that. I would be shocked to see a military rebel against Donald Trump's orders. I mean, number one, I think probably most of the military is behind Donald Trump, presumably, compared to,
I would guess.
Yeah, a Democrat. So the odds of that are slim and none to begin with. But it is odd to see. I mean, first time in my lifetime I've ever seen politicians step up and encourage the military to disavow orders.
I'm not trying to do the whole whataboutism stuff too, but just imagine it was the others. Like it was flipped. Like it was a bunch of Republicans who, the Dan Crenshaws of the world, right? Who were like, don't go listen to Joe Biden. Just imagine the MSNBC or the CNN or the ABC screeching heads. They'd be freaking out. They'd be like, "This is a threat to democracy." Ah! So yeah.
They're fomenting insurrection. They're encouraging civil war. They're trying to military coup. Absolutely. They would absolutely be crying that to the hills.
Recently I saw a journalist, Andy No, on his Substack. He talked about, I'll put a link in the comments if you guys want to bring it up. It was 5 far left extremists in Texas have admitted in federal court to being Antifa members in a North Texas Antifa cell that carried out an ambush terror attack on an ICE facility, right? So here you have a situation where you do have people carrying out attacks on ICE. And I haven't heard, a clarion call from, at least from Democrats, talking about how awful this is. But ultimately, I mean, if what you're if what you're saying is that you have members of ICE carrying out illegal orders, right, that they're acting illegally, I think that is going to give a lot of, say, concerned citizens the thought that, oh, well, they're doing something illegal. We should go over and we should stop them. We should put our bodies on the line, to the point where, I don't know if that's going to be a thing, like in New York or, Seattle, or if there are other, mayors and stuff of cities who are basically saying we want ICE out. And what is that, what is that gonna look like? I'm hoping that it doesn't lead to, more blood spilled,
It's crazy to me, and I think I talked about this a little bit on my show this week. The pushback that the left is showing to ICE with these deportations, but when you look at deportation numbers, like they're barely up, even compared to like Biden. It's not like there's some mass deportation that's been happening. It's just been publicized by the left. And really, as someone who voted for Trump, because I like to see criminals and people who are dangerous deported, and I wouldn't mind seeing actual, mass deportations, but I don't think that's at all really what's happening when you look at it.
No, I mean, it's mostly that the people coming in is vastly down. I mean, it's insane how much that drop has happened just of people coming into the country. But yeah, deportations aren't going crazy. And then, of course, it's always cherry picking too, what stories that the media wants to share about these. Like, oh, a little old lady. It's this, a child. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, this is one
also just outright lies.
Yeah.
Like, they'll take a story, like they'll say ICE went into a daycare and arrested and arrested an innocent immigrant. Actually, what happened was she got pulled over for recklessly speeding with her vehicle and fled into a daycare. Yeah. And then they went in. Yeah, it's like
they make it sound like they're arresting a teacher. This poor immigrant teacher. It's like no. This is a woman
there was a bunch of
daycare.
There was a bunch of left-wing influencers who ran with this video that was going viral back when all the mass deportations started. And it was one clip of, there was this little girl who was crying like, "Mama, no, Mama," right? And it's like, everybody's like, oh my God, everybody's reacting to it like, oh, my heart. And it turns out some like content creator took one video that was in a completely unrelated case of something and then took the audio from a movie just a scene in a movie, put it over top of it, and all these left-wing influencers bought it hook, line, and sinker. It's the equivalent of the Ukraine Ghost of Kiev pilot, right? Remember when that was like the story of that whole debacle?
That reminds me of the time Fox News, when Ron Paul won the CPAC straw poll. I think it was the second time he ran for president. And they took out cheers from the crowd and they put in boos.
No, come on.
That happened.
Is that where we get the meme where he's going like this with his hands, like the celebration meme?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
I used to love how with Ron Paul they would show like polling results and somehow he would not be there. It would be like Mike Huckabee at 3%. And then there was a weird gap. Who's in that next spot? It was like Ron Paul at 7%. They would just omit that from the actual results.
And that's Michelle Bachmann. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, what the fuck is happening here?
Well, guys, with
so disingenuous.
With so much of these, with so much of the examples that I've seen, like, kind of mainstream press run with, whether it's, like the New York Times or the Washington Post and stuff, it is kind of like what John said, there's this narrative that, oh, this woman ran in, this woman was, working in this daycare center and then they came in and got her. And with so many of these examples, you have what begins like sort of in the upper paragraphs, like a really, a vulnerable person, someone who your heart goes out to them. And then when you get to like paragraph 12, it's revealed, oh yeah, they have this criminal history and this is what they did. And look, I mean, with all of the immigrants that we have in the United States, I think there are a lot of people that you could, that are, innocent in that they're not criminals, or, at least, doing really, terrible shit that you could use as examples of like, hey, look what impact this policy is having. But for some reason, they keep going with like all these other cases where, like, for example, I know that when it comes to like bringing cases to the Supreme Court, lawyers are often, they want to find, the best case that they can bring. They want to find like someone like, please, is there a grandma who needs a gun to defend herself because she lives in this really terrible neighborhood? Like, can we use her? Right. So there's all this vetting about, trying to find the perfect representation of what you want to push. And when it comes to this, I don't feel like people are putting in the work of let's not, put this person forward to be the face of, the ICE raids,
Mhm.
Needs better casting. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Agreed.
It would require actual journalism, and that's
Right.
it's not something they really do they?
They lead with narrative. Is it Michael Malice? The corporate press is not. What was it? It's not that they aren't factual. It's just that they're not truthful. Right? They'll put the facts in the article, but they'll present things in such a way that they'll make you question the narrative. Right? They'll use weird phraseology, and you're like, wait. Let me read that again. Like, let me make sure I understood what they said. Like they'll put commas in weird spots just to like try and allude to something that didn't actually happen, but so long as it fits their narrative. And I mean, like I grew up, my dad was a county legislator in my home county for 15 years, right? And I saw it on a local level, like the local newspaper doing that kind of stuff. And it really makes your eyes open because like it's across the board. It's local, it's national, it's state, right? And this is just kind of like how it is. Doesn't make it right, but like it happens. And I guess that's why alternative media has really popped up like it has, because for a while there was no counter to that. That was the narrative. And to your point, there's a lot of people who they would just read that and they'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right. And they wouldn't even ask a question.
Well, the Patton Oswalts of the world, again,
that interview with him and Bill Maher.
Oh, I mean, you talk about exposing yourself as a fucking completely ignorant doofus. I mean, Patton Oswalt has no clue about anything going on that's negative in the world, apparently, other than his hatred for Donald Trump. Because
oblivious.
No idea about the trans stuff, no idea illegal, the legal birth certificate thing, no idea about the rape gangs and grooming gangs from these Muslim immigrants, no idea about anything. It's shocking.
How does that happen? Like, how do we have functionally two different Americas, right? Like the fact that someone like Patton Oswalt is an American citizen, and it is quite obvious that we are in completely different wavelengths, both politically, but also in terms of like just the information we consume, that we look at the world in two completely different ways. I'm at a loss for words at how that happens.
Well, I think something happened with me this week kind of crystallized why I think that's happening, and it's only going to get worse. So it's the algorithms. In the old days, it used to be you had to turn on a TV to get your opinions assigned to you. You'd go to Fox News or CNN or MSNBC, or go to your local news source and click on the TV. Now you get your opinion assigned by your phone. So even if you are in an airport or a public place and there's other news out there, their television on or whatever, people are just looking at their phones. But just as an example for something this week that is not related to politics at all, but former Penn State football coach James Franklin being hired by Virginia Tech. So, as a Penn State fan and someone who's interested in the story a little bit, you click on a couple articles, you watch a video. Now my entire Twitter feed, the entire feed is all Virginia Tech football. It's like, how do I get out? How do I get out of this? I'm stuck. I can't get back out.
So you remember when Sydney Sweeney broke the internet a few weeks ago with her dress?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Of course, any man saw that and was curious, right? I don't know about you guys, but my feed for at least 2 to 3 days afterwards was nothing but boobs. That's all it was.
It broke my algorithm. It broke my penis. Just completely destroyed.
You were Quagmire in that one episode of Family Guy where he discovers the internet and he discovers online porn, and he comes out with one arm jacked and the other one's just normal.
Well, it is interesting. You brought up Michael Malice. There's a recent episode of You're Welcome with Walter Kern, the novelist, and I believe he does some journalism too, like some opinion journalism. And they were talking about the algorithm. And you start one of the things that Walter Kern brought up is you think that the algorithm gets to know you as opposed to the algorithm telling you what it is that it wants you to see. And that's a really interesting way of looking at it like that. And when it comes to this idea of like of bubbles, I don't know if it's because like we're right of center, I guess. But so much of my bubble has to do with interacting with what's happening with the left, right? So it's sort of my bubble naturally kind of engulfs a lot of stuff on the left, whether it's to anger me or, to give me material, whatever, but I'm interacting with that. So when I saw those clips of Patton Oswalt and Bill Maher talking, I was very shocked, and I almost don't believe that Patton Oswalt could be in the position that he's in, because this is a guy who, back in the early 90s was really hip to all of this like outside stuff happening in the arts and literature and magazines and stuff. He was a big fan of Jim Goad, who had these I don't know if it's like a magazine called Answer Me, where one issue of Answer Me, I think, was like the rape issue, where everything was about rape and stuff, just really out there stuff, whether it's in music or literature and all that. So the idea that this really smart guy who knows so much about like geek culture and outsider artists doesn't know about this shit happening, I don't believe it. I don't believe it for 1 second. Or he has gone to like great lengths to insulate himself from anything, that could be, possibly negative on, his side of the political aisle.
Yeah, Mark called it the blue sky bubble, and that might be it. Patton was like, "Well, I'm also on X." It's like, well, I doubt you're on X often. You're probably just scrolling blue sky, and blue sky is not going to tell you any of this shit. It's just not going to be on there.
And he's also the guy. Well, and I want to remind people, a couple of years back, he's the guy who posted to social media a picture of him backstage in front of a mirror, writing on a piece of paper, I guess, his response to his good friend of many decades, Dave Chappelle, right?
Yeah.
So this is the same guy who came out and basically inferred, or at least, put it out there, that Dave Chappelle didn't want trans people to be safe. I remember, taking to him to task at the time over it, because I'm like, man, what a really shitty thing to do to a friend, not to say like, hey, if this is my friend of 20 years, I happen to disagree with him on this subject, but to make the claim that somehow this guy doesn't want them to feel safe in the country, I thought that was such a shitty scumbag thing to do. So I don't know. I guess we're, dealing with the same guy,
Yeah.
But Lou, I would go back to that and say, I think that partly explains maybe like if you're in a bubble, right, and that's all you consume is that narrative over and over and over again, that becomes your reality. And I've told the story on my show before, like my brother-in-law, I love him to death, but like that is literally who he is. He is that one person who he is perpetually online. He is playing video games, and his entire worldview, his entire political worldview has been built around the interactions he has online. And that's it. And it is so eye-opening when I engage in conversations with him. I mean, I'll see him, once, twice a year for the holidays, and I'll just, pick his brain for a little bit. And it's, again, like we're having two different languages we're communicating with. It's very weird, because I know that I'm in the news, and I know I read this stuff constantly. I know I'm more well versed in what's happening than your average person. We all are, right? But like, just to see somebody like in not just a different perspective, just like a completely different universe. It's very strange to experience that firsthand. And when I saw that interview, that's kind of what I felt like. It's like you see Bill Maher being like, really? How have you missed this? But it happens. I've seen it myself. The algorithm, like if you are only looking at these one things, or if your online group of friends only talks about these one things, like that becomes your world. That becomes your norm.
Yeah. Well, speaking of different worlds and different norms, so Jasmine Crockett, we should have done this at the beginning, but I forgot I had this clip talking about Epstein. So Epstein was texting with Stacey Plaskett questions during a hearing, and You know, you talk about the ways in which people twist reality. Well, I guarantee you the narrative on Blue Sky is that this poor lady was just trying to do her best, and that a black woman needs to be respected above all, even if she's texting with a pedophile. So let's hear what Jasmine has to say.
Because I'm sorry, but like we don't have ethical like rules that say that you can't receive text messages or you can't respond to text messages, especially if somebody has a certain record and you can't do it in committee. We all be sitting on our phones, and yes, people be texting. I mean, our staff text us, like everybody texts us. Like people, I remember when I had the bleach blonde situation, you know who was texting me? My pastor. Okay. So like, let me be clear. There is no ethical violation. And so the idea or the audacity to decide that you want to strip a black woman of her committee assignment because she was texting with Epstein, because I'm sorry, but like we don't have ethical like rules that say that you can't receive text messages or you can't respond to text messages, especially if somebody has a certain record.
All right, anyway, you get the idea. It's one of those things like, okay, I just love that you can't just address it. She could have left it at, hey, there's no rules around who you can text, right? Meanwhile, any rational human being is like, the man is a highly connected pedophile who's running an influence ring. You probably shouldn't do that, especially asking questions. You shouldn't be getting advice from this man unless it's on how to hog tie a child and keep him in a trunk. You know, like that's the only advice I would take from Epstein. But also, don't forget, it's a black woman that was removed from this.
Yes, yeah.
Well, here's something. I bet after seeing that clip, her pastor texted her and was like, why would you bring me up when you're discussing Jeffrey Epstein? Like, why make that connection? This idea of, well, she's getting text from Jeffrey Epstein, I'm getting text from my pastor. Like, for one, I could, for one, I think that's pretty funny, but also like, I could see that your pastor has your phone number where he would text you. Jeffrey Epstein has this other lawmaker's phone number. I mean, I think that opens up a whole, can of worms.
Yep.
Yeah. Is the relationship between her and her pastor the same between like the relationship between this other Congress lady and Jeffrey Epstein? Who knows?
Her spiritual leader is Jeffrey Epstein. Right?
I just love the way that Jasmine Crockett says pasta. I wish I could say it like that.
She turns her code switching up to 11. She cranks
it.
Who
takes her seriously? Who is her target market?
I would tell you who takes her seriously. I got the perfect answer to that question, Brian. Right here. Right. This is left. I don't know who this woman is. Stephanie Miller. I guess she's a left-wing radio podcast host. This is her kissing Jasmine Crockett's feet. Worshiping.
I thought we were past this kind of crap.
Another post I saw
just ended with George Floyd.
It's liberal white women.
Yeah, she worships the ground she walks on. Just
unbelievable.
Can you imagine the text messages this bitch sends to her? she keeps texting. She's like, "Can you send me some foot pics?" Like, please, Jasmine, please.
You got nothing on OnlyFans.
I'm gonna send my feet pics to my pastor. That's the.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. I don't understand her appeal. I mean, it's kind of, it's the same appeal as Kamala. It's the exact same quote unquote appeal, right? Remember how Kamala was when she was was she a senator, right?
Yeah.
Or a Congress. Yeah. Senator. So Kamala Harris would always be the sassy bitch on the hill, right? Always interrupting people, always being, you said code switching, always hope we don't play that. And look how that worked out for her. She got vice president, but that's only because Biden needed a DEI hire specifically and said so. And then when she goes and runs for president, she gets her fucking doors blown off because nobody likes her. Jasmine Crockett's the same thing. And the Democrats somehow think that she's the future of the party and keep propping her up. No one likes this bitch. Nobody likes her. I don't know if she's an idiot because clearly she's gotten where she is. She's clearly doing this for a reason because you guys probably saw her background. She went to like prep schools and very highly ranked academies. This chick's pretending she's putting on, blacker face,
show,
if you will. She's putting on a minstrel show. Yeah.
She said blacker face.
Blacker face. Yeah. one step darker. So I can't call her an idiot, but I think they're overestimating her appeal by about 7,000.
Well, it's one of those things that if she does run for president, where she will during the primaries, you'll see this version of her, the very in your face, blacker face
To the left,
talking sassy. And then if she does win and get the nomination, then you'll see the prep school version. You'll see, you'll see the Obama version.
Yep, exactly. All right. Well, guess we're done with that topic. Last topic of the day is this story is just enraging in every possible way, and speaks to a couple different things. So in Minnesota, which is especially like Minneapolis, it is overrun with Somalians, right? This is where what's the name of the chick that married her brother? That is a
Dearborn
congresswoman. No. The name of the chick. She's like part of the squad. She's
Ilhan Omar.
Yeah, Ilhan Omar. So this is Ilhan Omar's, domain here, but it's just so crazy how many Somalians are in Minnesota and in Minneapolis specifically, where it's like they can vote in their people, they control large swaths of the city. They've been found ballot stuffing, all these things, and now the latest thing. And as I wrote down in our sheet, autism for fun and profit. Can you guys read this? It's a little bit hard to read.
No, I can't read it all.
No, all right. Let me read it for you. So this is from Mike Johnson, Speaker Mike Johnson. So here's the facts in this story. Millions in stolen Minnesota welfare dollars have been funneled to Al-Shabaab, an ISIS-aligned terror group, and this is factual. This happened because Democrats built a system so loose, so corrupt, and so politically timid, the fraudsters exploited to bankroll terrorists abroad. What actually happened here was that the Minnesotan Somalians had taken advantage of this spending that was supposed to go towards autism, kids with autism. They over-reported and falsely reported that all these children had autism. And instead of giving money and care to autism children, they just funneled it towards these terrorist groups and while enriching themselves. And this is, by the way, the second thing that's come out about the Somali population in Minnesota, because there was another thing, too, that they did, which was they created, and again, another Somali, created a fake charity that was supposed to be giving out, I think it was kind of like a Meals on Wheels, and took in like $40 million, didn't deliver any meals, just kept the money, did nothing.
They're all skinny. Look at them. Look how skinny they are to this day.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, bring back the good old days of flies on eyeballs and distended bellies. Yeah, it's bonkers, man. It reminds me a little bit of, what we're seeing in Dearborn with, these mass migration policies, people taking over cities, taking over towns, and then installing completely corrupt governments, just overrunning the domestic population, which, look, if it happens naturally, that's one thing. But when you have mass migration policies, this is the shit that ends up happening. It's like, and so much of this money is also just sent home, or abroad to terrorist cells. It's not even like the good old days where a criminal spent that money here in America. Well, and I've killed the show again. That's my talent.
Yeah, I mean, at least if you're, I don't even know if I should say that and joke about it. I'm not going to joke about that. I'll skip that one. But it's when you talk about stories like we talked about Patton Oswalt earlier, and not hearing about things like this, a story like this doesn't make it out of the right wing media.
Yep,
doesn't make it on CNN, doesn't make it on MSNBC. So you wonder, like, how does this happen? How do they keep getting more power? How do they eventually take over the Minnesota governorship and from there on, which I'm sure they will. The population is growing like crazy.
Yep.
That's why. I mean, and that's just the nature of the media that we live in today. And I really don't necessarily think there's a way to stop it. Like, do I think the government should step in and start telling these media companies how to run their algorithms, or, no. I don't know. I don't know how you fix it.
EMP, giant EMP attack. Everybody goes back to zero, Fight Club style.
Bullshit.
Wait a minute. Wait, no.
Take this podcast down. It'll just be us old-fashioned style.
No, if you do that, the only people who are going to be able to survive it are going to be the Somalis in Minnesota. So you are like I bet I'm surprised that the money hasn't gone towards that, because they're gonna win out for sure. They can survive, man.
Digging for roots.
I,
All right. Well, any final thoughts to wrap up this episode, gentlemen?
is there? I mean, really, is there a cause we could be championing where we could be making some Somali money, some Al-Shabaab ass money right there?
I mean, there's got to be a way. There's got to be some sort of foundation we can create. Maybe something like Shave a Shabazz, where we're like, we'll go in and we'll offer to trim all the terrorist beards, and we take in money. Shaveashabazz.org, and I could see the money rolling in pretty easily.
Who's our target market?
The same people that are funneling the money towards the terrorist cells, the Somalis.
Perfect.
They seem to have the money. They seem to know how to get the money.
So it's ethical.
We just want to be on the
We're just
receiving end
taking
of
the
that
back.
money.
We're just bringing it back. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We're repatriating these terrorist dollars here at home.
You're welcome, America.
The thing is about all these terrorists with giant beards is that they have no chins underneath, and that's why they're so angry at the world. Shave those beards down, weak chins.
I feel bad for all the Amish that get caught up in these things, right?
Yeah,
getting profiled. You like on your horse and buggy. So.
The Amish, I still love how the Amish have an autism rate of like 0. It makes you think. It really makes you think. Then again, who knows? Maybe they don't report it. Maybe Jebediah takes him out and just beats him with a stick. And
I don't think you could beat the autism out of somebody.
Well,
really effective treatment method.
Yeah. Churning butter is actually the cure to autism. RFK's out there like, they just need to churn more butter.
There was an Amish kid on Theo Vaughn a couple of months ago, and they were talking about autism in Amish community, and he was saying, "Oh, it's very low, but there was one, Timmy, and he was different. He would organize all the seeds alphabetically, and but we just treated him differently. He was very smart. I don't know." There's one.
Timmy got the tism.
So what is it like? So with the Amish, they go on that Rumspringa thing where they're able to leave for like 6 months or something like that.
Yeah,
so I guess if you were an autistic Amish, your Rumspringa would be just going to the nearest train and just right? Like you want to experience some of that.
A locomotive going by.
Like that's it. Like that's what you're into, and then you have to make that really difficult choice. Do I leave the train gazing life behind and go back to alphabetizing seeds?
Well, they should have more autistic train lovers driving the trains. They have to be great at it. Better than at least the chick. It was here in L.A. Some chick, some fat chick fell asleep at the wheel of the train and just like careened around corners because she was going like 60 miles an hour and everybody's flying around the train cars. And she woke up and finally slowed the car down.
Well, I don't think it was her fault. I think her fake eyelashes were so heavy that they put her into a state of it's like narcolepsy, like right there.
Yeah,
catatonic almost.
It's like suing the gun manufacturer, but you sue the eyelash manufacturer.
right, for pulling the trigger.
Just think of the power of those
Maybe
lashes.
it's Maybelline.
If Jasmine Crockett ever gets kidnapped and buried alive, she'll be able to dig her way out just flopping her eyelids with the powerful muscles they've built up with those giant lashes for the last 15 years.
Eddie Murphy had a joke about he's like brothers being buried in the 70s, like with their big ass hats. It's like their hats sticking out from the coffin. It's going to be a similar thing with with those big ass eyelashes. Yeah, like,
you could go and just pet the lashes over top of the grave, and that's how you. All right, well, I don't know.
Great job.
Yeah, I don't know where we go from there.
Yeah,
I'd say good show all around.
We did enough.
Yeah. All right, guys, remember, you can get PoliTicks, its own feed. You can follow just this show if you want. We do this every 2 weeks. Or you can get this and much, much more by subscribing to the Lions of Liberty podcast on YouTube, on Rumble, on podcasts, on your feeds. And also, don't forget, you have a Patreon, patreon.com/Lions of Liberty or lionsofliberty.locals.com, where you get bonus content like morning rants, degenerate gamblers, meme wars, and all that good stuff. And also a shameless plug for me. Go check out Woke Word Wars, my brand new card game. It's great. You can get it on Amazon. Go to wokewordwars.com, and there's a link there. All right. Goodbye, gentlemen. I love you all. Toodles.
Oh, yeah. Politics more like PoliTicks with your PoliTicks. Oh, yeah. Politics with your PoliTicks.